He is on the Mercedes-Benz Vans phone line right now on this program. Two-time NBA champion, an Emmy Award-nominated analyst this year for his work on the stellar NBA on TNT. But he's on this program right now as an actor, a thespian. He is in the new Sandler flick called Hustle on Netflix. He is Kenny Smith. What's up, Kenny?
My main man, how are you today?
I'm hanging in there. Look at you being an actor, Kenny. Look at you.
Hey, look at me. I was like, it was such a one. The process was great, a lot of fun. Adam is the best of the best. Just to be around, forget like being in a film, but just being around. Rich, I didn't even know I was gonna like have a role in the movie when he first called me. I thought I was making a cameo. So I was like, yeah, send me the script. And he sent me the script, Rich. I read it. I'm reading it. I'm looking through it, like thumbing through it. I'm like, I don't see my name. He's like, no, you're Leon. I'm like, Leon has like 30 pages of dialogue. I'm like, wait a minute. I was like, oh, what? So it went from thinking I was going to be a cameo shot to this is it.
Well, you're playing an agent in the film, Leon Rich, which sounds like maybe you're based on the guy that's now running the Knicks, Kenny. Is that it? Did we get that?
Well, you know what? It feels more like a combination of Leon Rose and Rich Paul.
Aha. Okay, so that's it. Rich Paul and Leon Rose, so that's Leon Rich. There you go.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. It does feel like that. You know, I have the swag and the up to date of Rich Paul, and I also had the clients of Leon Rose.
Well, and I've got Juancho Hernan Gomez coming on the show on tomorrow to come in here, and he's apparently a revelation in this movie. Kenny,
he was unbelievable. Like, you know, he did an unbelievable job. Like, this was like I have haters in my house, so like. They're hard to please, so to speak, my two sons. And my 14-year-old came after the movie and he watched it, and he said, this might be the best basketball movie I've ever seen.
Has he seen the Spike Lee joint from back in the day starring Ray Allen?
Yes.
He got game.
I got game. He's seen, we go through them.
Okay.
I think the one thing that it's a different story, you know, where that's never really people don't know. You know, what an agent, what a scout, what do they go through to get people in combines and all that. So it's kind of like the heart of it, and it's the hustle. It's the hustle to really make it. It's not the number one draft pick in the world. You know, it's not the LeBron James story. It's the guy who, you know, played overseas or trying to play overseas, trying to make it, trying to be there, all the heartaches and the pain and the passion that you have to continue on. So that's what makes it, to me, a little bit different than anything I had seen.
And who did you meet somebody for the first time on this set in any way, shape, or form? There's tons of cameos, but I'm wondering if you crossed paths with anybody for the first time in your illustrious walk of life.
If it's in basketball, I know you. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
There's no way you could be in basketball and me not know you. But I think the most fun was in between takes at times, because we're in a gym a lot of times. A lot of scenes are in gyms at times, and so you have all of these NBA players in a gym, and then a pickup game might break out. It might be a shooting contest, a dunk contest. It'll be old heads versus new heads. Like, it'll just be some impromptu stuff that would just pop up. That was probably the most fun to me. You know, it'd be Adam and myself shooting against Trae Young. You know what I mean? Something crazy would happen. It just, those type of moments were always invaluable.
Sandler's got handle, though. He's got a shot and he's got handle. That we know.
He's
right,
got an awkward-looking shot that goes in. He's like the Jamal Wilkes of actors. If you remember Jamal
I was literally about to say that name, Kenny. I literally was about to say that name.
Sean Marion of actors. It's a weird-looking shot when it goes in.
Kenny the Jet Smith here on the Rich Eisen Show. Hustle is in theaters starting Friday, tomorrow, June 3rd, available for streaming on Netflix next Wednesday, June 8th. A story about a scout down on his luck for the Sixers, played by Sandler, and some wildness ensues that involves the role of Kenny Smith as a current NBA agent, Leon Rich, right here on the Rich Eisen Show. Okay, as we know, tonight is game one of the NBA Finals. Do you think we've got the best two teams in the NBA from start to finish playing in this game tonight,
yes,
Kenny?
We do. You know what's interesting, Rich? Like, I at the beginning of the playoffs, when I looked at the matchup, very rarely do I get it right. I was like Boston and Golden State. I was like, these are the two teams that's going to make it. And, I just felt that the matchup that they have posed so many problems for everybody leading up, especially when Milwaukee didn't have Middleton. I was like, this is really the matchup that they're going to have a difficult time, winning a series against these guys. And, Ime Udoka is a first-year coach. He's done an unbelievable job, and it'll be a first-year coach versus a veteran of championship experience. It's an experienced team versus an up-and-coming team. And I really believe these are the best two teams. Interestingly enough, someone asked me, hey, I just love the fact that there's parity nowadays. And I was like, no, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are possibly saying there's no more parity. Like, we are the best two guys here. And so that's going to be interesting to see how they continue this even after that.
And then, of course, the Celtics' fingerprint is their defense and what they're able to do to get you out of your game. And Marcus Smart being the defensive player of the year, how do you see this defense confounding the Warriors? Or I guess the Warriors were confounded by Memphis earlier on in this playoffs. But how do you think the Celtics can do that even better in the finals?
Well, the one thing that the Celtics are able to do is when you go small, they can stay big because they're versatile. So Williams and Al Horford are bigger players who can play on the perimeter. That's what separates them from 95% of the teams in the NBA. When they go big, if anyone goes big, they're just big. And then you can put a small lineup, they might not be able to defend the three or even shoot the three. But the Celtics are the only team in the NBA, one of the only teams that when they go big, they actually still play fast and can play fast. So I think that separates them when they're guarding Golden State.
Kenny, the Jet Smith from TNT, and again, his the new movie Hustle on Netflix here on the Rich Eisen Show. So the conversation in any championship round or game in any sport, certainly in the Super Bowl, we always talk about legacies when it's a player who's already won or can add to the case or needs to win for the first time. So Steph Curry is on that legacy hot seat right now for everyone to talk about. Where do you stand on how his legacy would be affected by getting another ring with this team in this circumstance, Kenny Smith?
I just think getting to the finals, put him in another stratosphere. Because you think about it, you go, well, when they, people, say, the first two, they get there, the league at the time, blah, 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 whatever that might be. Oh, now they got Kevin Durant. Now they go back without him. That's all him. He's the major cog in that. There's only 4 players that are consistent on that. So between Clay, and Draymond, I think all of their basketball legacies are cemented by them reaching the finals again this year. All 3 of them. And especially Clay. Now it's I wasn't a top 75 player, but the last 6 years I played, I've been in the finals. When I was there, I played. We were in the finals every year that I played. And so these guys have done something that, LeBron James liked, being, putting themselves in the finals. Michael Jordan liked, Chicago Bulls liked, being in the finals that many times, that many years, and different eras in a sense, different eras of the way the game was played.
The super team era, and now maybe I don't know if you could say it's post super team era because everybody thinks that you need to be hooking up one star to another. I mean, even Embiid is tweeting out watching the Heat Celtics series that Miami needs another star. I mean, so what is Curry's legacy then? Do you think? Like, how would you lay that out? I know you just mentioned Bulls light. Does that make him Jordan light specifically? What do you think?
That makes his teams Bulls light, Laker light. Doesn't make him Michael Jordan the greatest basketball player probably we've ever seen, without question. There's only few that would debate that. However, it puts his teams in those categories because, being able to bring that many consistently in 6 out of the last 8 years, and really the only reason you weren't there because the guy who stands next to you is the second greatest shooter possibly in the NBA history isn't there. That says a lot. And there's really no look at it and go, well, they won't play as well next year. They probably play better next year when they have Weissman and all those guys coming back and a healthy, Peyton and a healthy Draymond all year. Like, they could play better next year.
Kenny Smith here on the Rich Eisen Show. What'd you make of Darvin Ham being hired by the Lakers, Kenny?
Happy for Darvin. He was a short-time teammate of mine when we were in Denver together. He, being from Texas, I used to see him in pickup games. I used to stay in Houston a lot. So I'm so happy for him. I think, he's got a great opportunity, but a tall task. Getting your first opportunity as a coach, sometimes you don't care where it is. But I think having, obviously, LeBron James, the tall task is here's a team that has LeBron and AD that didn't even make the playoffs last year. And anything other than, being the Golden State and Boston is down is considered a failure. Frank Vogel got fired. He won a championship. He got fired and didn't have Anthony Davis this year. He didn't have AD. Like, how can you even judge his coaching ability when he doesn't have the player who arguably should have been the best player on his team this year? So if the expectation sometimes in Tinseltown is a little unrealistic, so that's the tall task of being here and coaching here.
Do you think Westbrook and LeBron and Anthony Davis can actually succeed as a triumvirate if all healthy, or he's miscast Westbrook on this team, or he's no longer castable in the role of MVP player anymore, Kenny?
No, he was miscast because Anthony Davis wasn't there. So his role would have been dramatically changed, and the things that he would have had to do as a basketball player, you're asking him to do like it's his third, fourth year in the league. LeBron was an aberration, and he still couldn't even get his team to the playoffs. Playing the way he played this year, averaging almost 30 points a game, and he still couldn't even get to the playoffs. So, asking those guys to be who they were, I just felt was unfair in general. And Russell Westbrook is a pace setter, and he's a really damn good one. He might not be a great scorer today, as he once was, but he's definitely a pace setter who can set the pace for your team and still create opportunities that no one else can do. But they were asking him to, set the pace, rebound the basketball, and we need you to score this year. That wasn't the role we wouldn't have cast him in Hustle the movie for that.
Well, I mean, your co-producer LeBron of Hustle said basically, we were hardly together this year. We were hardly all healthy together this year. So we're going to run it back and look out. Although they were a 500 team when they were all healthy. But so you're of that mindset, just let's get everyone healthy, run it back. Darvin Ham might have his own say and his own stamp and is allowed to have such, and it'll work out. You think so?
If guys are healthy, the Boston Celtics at one time this year were, I think, 32-29 or some ridiculous low number.
Right.
Like, everyone can figure it out. So they were 500 together, but those games were so spaced apart that you still couldn't tell if they were a good team, or good teammates. Because when they were together, again, like I said, it was spaced apart. LeBron James is still top 3 in his position in basketball. Anthony Davis, when healthy, is top 3 in his position in basketball. Russell Westbrook, when healthy, and the way he could play, is still top 10 in his position in basketball. So if you put those 3 guys together, you would say, yeah, of course they could make a real run if healthy. That's why I was surprised that Frank Vogel was fired when you don't even have the team. They didn't even have the team together for enough games to say this guy didn't do a good job coaching.
Do you see Winning Time? Do you watch Winning Time, Kenny? Did you see it at all?
I have not, but I've lived it, but I have not seen it.
Which one of your teams would make for a good show, do you think, Kenny?
Oh, our second championship team with Matt back, when Clyde Drexler comes to the team, and we're a 6 seed, and we got to win an NBA championship, and all the drama that went behind, the fights, the arguments, that would be definitely a cable show.
Who fought? What fight? What fight you talking about, Kenny?
Oh man, we have a Bergen Maxwell on our team. There was fights every day in our practice and in our locker room. His nickname is not Mad Match because he's such a non-hostile guy.
I love it. All right, Kenny, before I let you go, your prediction for the NBA Finals. Who takes it and how many games? What do you got for me?
Well, I had these 2 making it, but I had the Warriors winning it based on experience. Because experience to me, what it really does is it decreases your anxiety in big moments because you've been there before. So these guys will not have anxiety in big moments. We've seen it against Memphis, even though they were shorthanded at one time. But even in those moments, they have a 55-point loss, and they're down 55 in one game and still come back and win the series pretty handily. They don't waver in moments. That's why I'm going with the Golden State Warriors.
In 5, 6, 7? What do you got? How many? What do you think?
Oof. I really believe that Boston will win 2 games minimum. So it's a minimum 6-game series because they do pose problems. The weakness of the Warriors are the strength of Boston. So minimum 2, possibly 7.
Kenny, congrats on the Emmy nom this year and on Hustle. Huge. That's a huge buzz already, and it streams on Netflix starting next week on June 8th, next Wednesday, and it's in theaters near you starting this very weekend. Thanks for the call. Enjoy it.
Thanks for having me, brother, always.
You know that. Anytime. This is at The Jet on TNT, on Twitter, at Kenny Smith on Instagram. Kenny Smith here on The Rich Eisen Show. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.